and against GMOs. We are on a serious matter here. In fact, I lost my father some few days ago. That is why I'm appearing like this. And as the only son, I have a lot on my head. But I came here because this issue is important and dear to me. And I would like to, before I proceed, there is somebody that spoke about how they made the GMOs here. And I would like to ask the person two questions. Who is the holder? Are those seeds patented? That is the first question. And if yes, who is the holder of those patents? Because I want to talk about how there is a hidden cost, economic cost to these GMOs. Because somebody spoke about the person who controls your food, controls your life. And if, as a matter of fact, we remove the issue of the health issue, the economic issue is too big to ignore. And I want us to understand clearly that monopolies are always a danger to an economy. And GMOs now, there are very few companies or institutions that have the capacity to make GMOs. And then now, if we are going to go the way of GMOs, how are we going to avoid the issue of monopolies? Because as we speak, the people who are invested in this technology want to reap, some form of payback from it. So it's not free. It's not Father Christmas.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm asking, as a matter of fact, I want to ask this Honorable House to make a law to ban GMOs for the next 25 years until we have the capacity to do anything about it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Chairman, so our views represent the views of millions of Nigerians. And so far, all the people who have spoken are mostly elders, so permit me to represent the young people in our country. And I want to re-emphasize on the impact on biodiversity. Biodiversity is life, is the foundation of our food, it's the foundation of our life. And GMOs have serious implications on biodiversity. Over 80% of GMOs so far are said to be designed as herbicide-tolerant GMOs. That's the link to the poison you saw by Samarian Holt. Many of them, those 80%, are designed to withstand the application of that pesticide. That pesticide does not only destroy the target weeds, it also destroys very beneficial microorganisms in the soil. The populations of bees in the US and other places have been seen to reduce over time since the application of these herbicides on the farm. And we need to also note that these herbicides are produced by the same companies, the very companies manufacturing these GMCs. Now, also to let us know that it is way more than 3 crops that are approved. Even if we're talking about commercial release, there are actually 4 varieties, 2 varieties of cowpea, 1 of cotton and 1 of maize. And the fact that there is no report of risk assessment on the website of the NBMA, there's no proof that the NBMA has done any independent long-term risk assessment. She mentioned how applicants should submit risk assessment that they have done. We shouldn't depend on the risk assessment that the person who wants to introduce these crops has carried out. There are also products that are brought in for use for food, feed, and processing. So it's not just about the ones we are planting. There are three crops, soy, wheat, and I think maize, that are brought in for food, feed, and processing. Those also enter our food chain. This document contains over 50 different products, processed foods, that are imported into the Nigerian market, in our supermarkets. Everyday food, cereals, vegetable oils, noodles, cake mixes, syrups, different kinds of things that are actually labeled to contain genetically modified ingredients. How many of us in this room know that there are crops like that, foods like that in our supermarkets? So the rights of our people.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Protocols duly observed. I think I want to talk briefly on the economics of production when you consider GMO. We've talked of the impact on smallholder farmers. You consider what happened in India sometime between 2011 and 2013, when smallholder farmers were committing suicide because of the impact of GMO. What happened? They were using buying seeds. And the implication was that these seeds, immediately after planting, they cannot reuse again. And they were spending. That gave them a big, high level of indebtedness. And farmers started committing suicide. It was tagged the seed of suicide rather than seed of life. To me, there is no point talking about GMO modified foods. Thank you.
Life is involved. I hate falsehood. I hate falsehood. We were told in these hallowed chambers that only 3 crops has been approved. That is not correct. In 2016, GM maize variety event NK603 was approved. In 2017, BT cotton was approved. In 2019, transgenic cassava, I wrote an objection for that, was approved. In 2021, Taylor maize came first to Nigeria. What we're discussing now is a resurfacing of Taylor maize. Now, you talk about BT beans. I want to dwell on BT beans. I want to tell Nigerians, if you want to plant BT beans, which has been painted very good here, please take a soil sample where you want to plant. Determine the microbiota and the right soaps on that soil. Plant your BT coin. Return after your BT maize had matured. Take the same sample. You will see the wide differential in soil microbiota. You will see depletion of rhizomes. Who said GMOs are safe? When the active gene in BT modification, cryprotein 1B, are now being recovered from fetal and maternal blood, who said it's safe? The point need to be made and succinctly clear that anybody who is telling you that GMOs are risk-free, there is no risk-free situation. The point is this. Please, I challenge this house. Can you pay a visit to NIBMA lab? You will find rug. Please, let us rise from here. We do not have the capacities. We do not have the competencies to do GM in Nigeria. They told you all of them were made in this country. Hell, sorry, it's not true. Professor Shaku, who pioneered the work on BT maize, on BT, told us in Sheraton Hotel and Towers that they were all completely knocked down gene brought to him from Switzerland, and he coupled here. Assemblage of a car do not mean you manufacture a car. The point need to be made that we are losing our biodiversity to GM incursion. It's been dumped on Nigeria unbridled. Why would anybody say it's 3 crop? You've forgotten the approval for the wheat GM that was released on us. Why are we experimenting with Nigerians' life? This is pathetic. It must be halted.
Thank you very much, Chairman. All protocol duly observed. My name is Professor Peter Ayodije Kunwe from the University of Port Harcourt, a proud Edoman. Now, I want to say that we've talked about the benefits of GMO, but at what cost? Those are the things we need to consider, and I think it's very important for us to know the cost in terms of the health cost. They might tell us that there's no health problem with GMO, but that's not true, because in the long run, from all statistics and from all results we've seen so far, there's healthcare. A brother mentioned about a publication by Serena in 2012, that shows that GMO has the potential of causing tumor in rats. Now, of course, they discharge this publication. So I want...
Come again. You said GMO has what?
The potential to cause tumor. Okay. GMO has the potential to cause tumor in rats. It was a research conducted in 2024 in France. Now, a lot of people disregard that research by these scholars because they felt that the methodology wasn't right. But other researches are going on. So there's a long-run effect of GMO, and those are our concern. These are the costs, especially with the farmers as well, not being able to regeminate their plants again, and constantly depending on these corporations to supply seeds for them. So these are the issues we are looking at. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
For protecting me. The other issue I want to address here is the regulatory rules that NAMA play. From our observation, NAMA is just a sandbox to promoters. because most of the conferences, as my colleague earlier stated, most of the conferences organized by NAMA are...
You have only 2 minutes.
I'm coming, sir. I'm coming.
Only 2 minutes.
Okay.
So
That's it.
To the point of what you want to tell the committee.
Okay, what I want to state here is that with my medical background, there is no doubt that the emergence and reemergence of infectious disease and communicable disease is actually on the rise in Nigeria. And there is a direct link between the emergence and reemergence of this disease with what we eat. So I think at this moment that we are considering a product that's been identified unsafe in other areas, we should treat with care. Thank you very much. I want to crave your indulgence to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Tatfe Mirabo. I'm a professor of medical microbiology and immunology, presently working with the Nigerian University, Bayelsa State. I want to start by making a categorical statement that GMO are not safe for this country. And it's because of the identified challenges that we've seen with GMO that the Cartagena Protocol and the Nagoya Protocol were enacted, which Nigerians has assented to in 2003 and 2012 respectively. I listened to the previous speakers who are trying to convince us that we should import GMO in this country, but none of them has given us a tangible reason why GMO should be brought into this country. I listened to the honorable members who spoke ab initio, and they asked very valid questions. Were we eating before GMO? The answer is yes. So what has changed? And another colleague asked, what is the right of the small-scale farmers? And I want to state here that the small farmers are not protected. They will be extincted because with GMO, the technology in it does not allow reproducibility of this seed, or it will reduce yield. So they'll be forced to go back to buy the seed from the donors, which is not healthy for our farmers. I stand to be corrected. I've interacted. Please.
Ladies and gentlemen, the professor here has a glove, and he has a thermal protection.
Thank you, Chairman. Please, I think your mic. Yes.
The committee here. So please, I advise everybody should have this and listen. Time will be given to everybody if you have anything that you want to talk to. Because we are scared of this here, and giving you additional 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you so much. My name is Barrister Mary Ambassi. I stand on all existing protocols. Food can be a weapon, and it's a weapon. He who controls your food can control your society. He who controls your seed can control the life and will control the earth. I've heard our NAMA boss says that she was careful to mention the partners that helped them do the work, but she did not mention OFAP, she did not mention NABDA. Honorable members, I've read the act. NABDA, National Biotech Agency, that they are supposed to regulate, is a member of the board, a board member in NAMA, and they've also made applications. How can a board member that you are supposed to regulate be in your board? And in my opinion, and what we've seen, the regulated is more influential on the regulator. It's more influential. If you look at the act, I've studied that act, they make themselves board members. They are there. And I ask myself, if you are hiding what you are doing, you shouldn't be hiding it. My grandmother says, if you are hiding what you are doing, you should not be hiding it. Look at this. This is Roundup. I bought it in the market. If I drop this thing, just a drop in the food, everybody, in fact, some drops, everybody is dead. This is a cocktail of what Monsanto had given as a gift to Nigeria when NAMA approved the maize that they gave us. In 2016, when the application was made in Nigeria, our organization, we told them that this is the same BT cotton that was made in Burkina Faso and Mali that was brought to Nigeria. I belong to an organization, we are in 76 countries. They removed just Burkina Faso and just put in Nigeria. The government of Burkina is not up to Lagos State. Lagos is bigger than Burkina Faso. They rejected, they said Monsanto lied to them. Lied that this, what they promised heaven, they saw hell. It did not, so they banned it. In Russia, if you bring in GMOs, you are considered as a terrorist. This is random that Monsanto sells with its cocktail of food. If you put this thing, if I drop it, everybody is dead. I bought it in the market. I'm not joking. I bought it in the market. Randomly, I bought it in the market. I bought it as testimony. I bought this thing in the market. Then secondly, Mexico. Mexico is the city of corn. I'm sure honorable members, some of you have been to Mexico. If you go to Mexico, please, I have the floor. If you go to Mexico, you will see blue, yellow, green, black corn, diversity of corn. They call them the city of corn. Recently, the countries, I'm quoting names because I'm a lawyer, and I find that everything I say is true. You can find out. Canada, US want to bring in their GM, and their president said on 1st October 2024 that they will never accept GMO corn. That the way they eat in US is not the same way we eat in Mexico. Don't bring in your corn to our country. And they've been fighting it. Is it possible that you... So one more minute. I will soon round up, please, sir. No, please, honorable. No, I'm not. Bassi, is this on?
I've listened very carefully to all the presenters, and I want to congratulate the gentleman that moved that motion. I'm a professor of genetics, and I want to believe that if you assess the whole of this hall, we are very few, even across the world and in this nation, we are not up to 20 professors of genetics. So I'm going to talk as a genetist. Number one, classifying an organism as a genetically modified is fraud, because what they did was not genetic modification. If you want to do genetic modification, there is a sample. I've seen a sample with somebody there carrying a bag. Telomeres, they have written there hybrid. Hybrid has father, has mother. So you bring the father and the mother to give birth to the child. But genetically modified organisms, we are told, is produced by certain persons who have that belief that they want to achieve a certain purpose. And they brought bacteria and include bacteria inside fruit. Number one, if you see all the pictures on your Google, you see fruits of apple, you see all the genetically modified food, you see fruit. Fruit is not an organism. We are scientists. Fruit is a part of the organism that is the plant. So if you want to modify, you modify from the plant. You marry them together. You carry reproductive characteristics or parameters and merge them to arrive at a desired substance that you call a hybrid. What they have and what the world has presented to us as genetically modified food is cooked bomb that will blow when you take it, because there is an entity that is incubated inside that when you take it, and let me tell you, Mr. Chairman, sir, that every factor that will arrive at genetically modified food is not bacteria. That is a scam. It comes from heavy metal. And let them eat it. For those of them who are talking about it, let them eat it and see what it will do to them. And the result will be open. Genetically modified foods are baked population control factors. I know they will say, what do they classify us as? They give us names. Conspiracy theorists. I was one of the #1 conspiracy theorists in COVID-19. And I mentioned it that when COVID rests, another one will come. The next one is GMO. GMO has come. Do you know why it's going to succeed? Because it's food. And it's going to affect everybody. I am a professor of genetics trained in Nigeria and in Israel. I trained in Israel University. And I'm an Edo man. We don't run from truth. Genetically modified food are cooked bomb that will explode. Thank you very much, sir.
We are here to work for the best interest of our country, and we should be serious on what we are doing. Thank you. The next presenter is Professor Cyril Potoke.
All protocol observed. Firstly,
my brother, 5 minutes.
Yes, sir. Firstly, I attended the 7th annual conference of the NBMA 2 weeks ago, and they stated in the conference that their laboratories were going to be ISO certified. And I stand to say here that we don't have more than 3 ISO certified laboratories here in Nigeria, and I'm wondering which of the laboratories were certified enough to carry out GMO experiments in Nigeria. Number 2, risk assessments. We have asked many of them several times for risk assessments, and they never provided it to us. And that's because the risk assessment that was used in Nigeria from information from NBMA is from the EFSA risk assessment, which is just for 2 years. And 2 years is not enough to evaluate the impact of GMOs on our health, on our environment, and also generally. Because there's sufficient proof that there's a 16-year research in Canada that shows that the use of pesticide increased by 244% when they kept using GMO crops. And I'm happy that she stated that pesticides cause cancer, because they really do cause cancer. There's sufficient research. There is a republished research by Professor Seralini that proves that GMOs cause tumors and cancers. And you see, I also, stating from the conference I attended, all the promoters, NBMA is supposed to be a biosafety organization, but all the speakers that spoke at the event were all promoters of GMO. So much so that OFAB was sharing conference materials at such an event. That is similar to a football, the referee scoring goals. The referee is now the one officially taking free kick in the match, because NBMA is supposed to be a neutral organization. There were only 2 of us.
Very clear. Nigeria is not yet ripe for genetically modified organisms. And the reasons are very clear. I'm a scientist. I'm a researcher. I'm heading the Center for Food Safety and Agricultural Research in a university here in Nigeria, and I've studied across the globe. Genetically modified organisms that we are referring to here in Nigeria are transgenic. That means genes are exported from other organisms across species barriers into organisms that they were not supposed to be there or naturally. For example, genes that confer the ability of a snake to have venom can be extracted and inserted in a crop or in any other organism that will confer that ability in that organism. So genetically modified organisms in this context, as we are discussing today, are being banned by other countries that are even more advanced in research than us. For example, according to World University Ranking, the 7 best universities in Africa, 6 of them are in South Africa. The 7th one is in Cairo, in Egypt. And just a few days ago, South Africa Supreme Court of Appeal reversed their approval on GMO maize. And the research facilities in South Africa and in Cairo are better than the research facilities we have in Nigeria, in our universities. Now, the question is this. On the plane of health, GMOs have recorded scientific proof to be adversely affecting the health of consumers. In the United States of America, where GMOs are being used, their health is not correct. And you can listen to the news. You can listen to the news. They are complaining. The International Agency on Cancer Research, a World Health Organization agency, a United Nations agency, has labeled some of the GMOs as probably carcinogenic. That means they cause cancer. On the issue of economics.
Thank you, already. You are given 5 minutes.
Yes.
5 minutes is over.
Thank you so much. Yes, I have delivered it.
This year is the NGOs. NGOs and individuals who are willing to make their submission. Can we still allow them to make their own submission before we allow for a general question for both?
transformation? That should be the question here. Let's take the case of the PBR copy. Over 1,000 accessions of copy were scrutinized for resistance to Moruca. No single accession turned out to be resistant. We had no choice. The only viable option was to use biotechnology to enhance resistance to Moruca. Moruca can lead to 100% yield loss in the field. And we all know today, without pesticides, you cannot cultivate cowpea. And we all know the health hazards associated with using herbicides and insecticides in the field. That has been attested. You can ask farmers. That even affects that even impacts on their lifespan. Because at the end of the day, you see them having health issues, cancer, lung issues. These have been medically documented. As scientists, we don't speak on hearsay, we speak on facts. In our submission, we have given statistics, we have even provided references. And I ask everyone present here should check, we should all Google and see the information available. I'm a lady, I'm a mother, I'm a daughter.
Thank you, yes.
I will not work on something that will harm my family.
Thank you, yes. Thank you, yes. Thank you.
I'm not done. Sir, please. My 5 minutes is not up. Please, sir.
No, your 5 minutes is over.
Please, sir.
Thank
Please,
you.
sir. Please, sir.
All you want to say, you have already made some
No.
I hear. I said all you wanted to say now, you have already made a submission to the committee.
I just want to mention one thing that for the last time, please, sir.
Okay, mention it.
Biotechnology is not new. Biotechnology is as old as man. We have been eating biotechnology products. We all eat bread. We all eat bread. We take yogurt. Then we don't show concern. And some of us here are diabetic. I'm also one. I take insulin. Have we ever asked how insulin is produced? The same science that is used to produce insulin was the same science I used to produce telomerase, PBR copy, and then BT counting. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. We have